Good morning. Welcome to this session of the live coaching classes of the Board of Studies of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. We are engaged in trying to understand the provisions of the Companies Act relating to management and administration. Basically, meetings and, shall we say, related matters, and of course, registers and returns. It's a humongous topic, as I keep repeating, and so we are still there and trying to understand it, but we've made some good progress. So what I'm going to do is to just go to a summary slide where I would like to show you, or rather, try to understand the totality of what we are looking at here. So just to recap, the meeting of a company is an important event. There are two types, you see. Basically, you've got general meetings, you've got board meetings where the directors meet, and you've got class meetings where preference shareholders or creditors, debenture holders, they meet. We are not concerned about board and class meetings in this topic. We will be, see, class meetings, most of the time, they would follow the same rules as general meetings, right? And very rarely you will come across it in final examination, in compromises and arrangements, etc. But the rules are same, except that if you are going to get creditors, okay, you would rather not go by share or one man, one vote. You will go by value, that's all. The proportions of voting, the votes would depend not on the number of persons, but on the value of the loan, the amount of loan. If you understand this one small thing, a class meeting is nothing. Otherwise, the rules are the same, right? Okay. So suppose I have a class of creditors called secured creditors. There are 5 creditors. Okay. Now, State Bank of India, Punjab National Bank, right? And so on and so forth. So these 5 guys will come, and when they come and they meet, their goal is to take a decision on whether to extend the loan or whether to go for a compromise, whatever. Now, when they vote, SBI may have given you 100 crores. PNB might have given you 50 crores, so on and so forth. So the voting would be proportionate. That's all. So when SBI man raises the hand, he is not raising for one hand. He is raising for 100 crore, which means one guy has got about 60% of the amount of loan. He will always be able to influence what is to be done, right? And they have their own rules too. Similarly for debenture holders also. I'm just giving this to you so that you will get it out of your mind. Class meetings also. Board meetings, there are provisions which you will study when you come to the final examination syllabus or final course. There you will find directors and powers of directors. Maybe me who is talking about it, but powers of director. Until then, don't bother. We are concerned about general meetings. And what is the purpose of a general meeting? To pass a resolution. The company has decided to do something. That decision is communicated or that decision is made valid through a resolution passed at a validly convened, constituted and conducted meeting. So convened, we saw notice. We have seen only ordinary. Actually, there is no ordinary notice. We have seen notice of meetings. Very important, because if the notice is not given correctly, then the meeting is invalid. If the meeting is invalid, decisions taken at the meeting are invalid. So any smallest defect in any of these things would ultimately result in invalidating the meeting. And once the meeting is invalidated, the result is also invalidated. The act is not valid. This is how we have to conclude from a legal perspective. So you have ordinary notice, which is the normal notice. Notice given by the company to the member. Notice given by the company to the member. We also have special notice. We'll be seeing it today, where notice is given by the members to the company on special, for special matters. Notice given by the members to the company is called special notice. There is no term called ordinary notice. It's called notice. When the notice is given by the company to the member, we don't call it ordinary notice. It's called notice. Whereas special notice is there, we'll see that, which is given by the members to the company. We'll see that today. Business is also very important. 4 matters which are ordinary business if conducted at an AGM. 4 matters which are ordinary business if conducted at an AGM. I will not repeat what it is, you go and verify it. You should know it. Very ordinary. These are exactly, simple things that are always done at an AGM. If done at an AGM, ordinary, I don't have to give any explanation for it. But anything done at an AGM other than these 4, any other subject other than these 4, and any subject at any other meeting, then that is a special business and requires an explanatory statement. Very important. That is why I am bringing it under convene. Though business is also a part of conduct, right, agenda, still this is where the business, if you want to transact a business at a general meeting, that should be mentioned in the notice. And if it is a special business, you should also provide all the material facts that would be necessary for the member to take. Operating here is, you have to give me all the information. You can't just say, pass the resolution. Why are we passing it? What is the background? What are you trying to do? So the board of directors have to give a clear statement of what the intention is, what the purpose is, and how it's to be done, whether any director is interested in the matter. If so, what is the interest? Disclosure. As future members of the institute, you will appreciate that almost all the accounting standards, I think all the accounting standards, all the India is, bottom line is disclosure. Okay? Disclosure. If you disclose it, you are safe. But if it is not done, then the meeting is invalid. The act done is invalid, right? In some cases, if the act is also violative of the Companies Act or fraudulent or intentionally fraudulent, you can take action against the director or the board. Civil action. In addition to punishment, under this section, you can also file a civil suit for damages. Right. Now the meeting is called. The meeting has arrived. Members start assembling either in person or in virtual mode. We need a quorum. Means the minimum number of persons required to attend the meeting. We saw the rules of quorum, etc., etc. I'm not trying to teach it again. I'm only reviewing it quickly. A person can attend the meeting in person. A member can attend the meeting in person or by proxy. Instead of coming himself or herself, he or she can appoint a person called a proxy to attend on their behalf. Proxy is an agent. We saw the rules relating to proxy, when the proxy should be, the form should be deposited with the company, inspection of proxies, when I should give the notice, when I can inspect, what the proxy can do, what the proxy cannot do. Proxy cannot vote on show of hands. No. Means on show of hands, proxy cannot vote. Proxy cannot vote. Proxy cannot speak. On any subject on any agenda subject, he cannot speak. Why? Because he's a stranger, yeah. Think about it. As I already mentioned, it's a family affair, yeah. This guy is a stranger. Boss, you come here to represent somebody, now do what he told you. Vote. So the only purpose of the proxy's attendance is to vote. And he can call or demand a poll. He can demand a poll. And he can vote on a poll. Now, we move to voting. Voting initially is by show of hands. There are only 5 people, all are known to each other. Matter is open and shut. Nobody has an issue. Chairman can simply say show of hands. All of them raise their hand. All those in favor raise. In case there is one dissentient, also no problem. But suppose after the show of hands vote is taken, chairman is going to declare at the time of declaration or before that, if a poll is demanded, then the chairman shall take a poll. On a poll, one share, one vote. On show of hands, one man, one vote. On poll, again, do your math. For differential voting rights, when one share, we say it may not be one vote, yeah. It may be 3/4, it may be half, whatever. So proportion. So don't immediately ask me, sir, about differential voting rights. I agree with you. differential voting rate shares will not be 1 share, 1 vote. But whatever the proportion you've agreed to, in that proportion, it's not 1 man, 1 vote anymore. It is in proportion to the share capital. Normal shares, equity shares, 1 man, 1 share, 1 vote. Differential voting rate, do your math, yeah. 2:1, whatever. 2 shares give you 1 vote, 3 shares give you 1 vote. Whatever, yeah. Take that and work with it. It's that simple math. Do it. Okay? Now, don't get confused with that. The point is, voting is based on share capital. In the case of a company not having a share capital, sorry, voting is based on total voting power, which would again come back to 1 man, 1 vote. Yeah. So that's it. You're not having share capital. What can I do? Mostly non-profit organization capital, Section 8 companies. So there, voting is always by 1 man, 1 vote. So when 1 man casts a vote, it's 1 vote. So on and so forth. Right. So, I mean, many of these things, doubts are there, but can be easily cleared by logical thinking. That's what I keep on telling you. So we came up to voting. Then we said voting can be by show of hands. Voting can be on a poll. Both these concepts assume that the member is going to come or the proxy is going to come to a physical space. We are imagining a physical space. 2022 AD, we have moved to the virtual space. Slowly we are moving into the metaverse. So the law also has to keep track, right? So the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has permitted e-voting. Of course, long ago they said postal ballot. Postal ballot is simple, yeah. Instead of coming, you send him a notice, okay, along with the ballot form. Okay, you give him to send it, right? Within 30 days from the date of dispatch of the notice. Within 30 days from the date of dispatch of the notice, the poll sheet should be returned back to the company. Then the scrutineers are there. They're usually a company secretary. They will collect all it, put it in a box. Then at the end of the day, on the time appointed, they will open the ballots, count the ballot, prepare a report and give it to the chairman. This is very important because in today's fast-moving world, people just don't have the time to assemble in a physical space. So the law permits them to vote from remote locations, either through post. Now, when postal ballot was introduced in 1999, the internet had not really been seen as an opportunity by the law. Emails was there, no doubt, but we were still worried. And therefore, it was subsequently when proliferation of digital world and everybody started living in a digital world. Today, we are living in two spaces. The body is there and you live in a virtual space where your consciousness is there. Your consciousness is definitely there in the physical space along with your body, but your consciousness, is now able to move into a virtual space. You're able to go to many places virtually and be there, maybe through Zoom or maybe through. So we are going to see so many methods of attending events, etc., in virtual space, where your body will be here, but your consciousness will be there. Okay, so I use the word consciousness as distinct from your mind. Okay, right? Consciousness itself can go and be there. Mind definitely can go. Mind can go anywhere. Consciousness, you as a person can go there and be perceived as being there. Right? All this is going to happen. So now today, many companies are encouraged. Listed companies mostly have virtual meetings. They do not have physical meetings. So you password. Along with that, they also can provide e-voting, electronic voting, where you will vote electronically through a URL link. That's all. Nothing great. I showed you also now for Balakrishna Industries. I showed you how I have received a mail. So I just have to follow the link. I'll go there. The ballot sheet would come on screen. It's a fillable form. Just have to say yes, submit. That's all. Thank you for your vote. Bye. That's all. Matter over. We do that regularly now, yeah. And you don't even need a laptop or a computer for it. You can actually do it on this mobile, the handheld device that you use. Initially, we used it only for voice communication. Today, this has become a processing device. This is a digital processing device now. It's no longer a mere phone. To call it a phone would possibly be a misnomer, right? It's no longer a phone. It's something bigger and better than a phone. An important tool which makes living easier in these days. Fantastic. I just thought I'll give you a quick summary before I move on to the topic for the day. So, okay. I know before one or two of you put up this comment, I will myself tell you this slide, which inshallah I'll be able to complete today, will be shared with you today. Even the entire topic or slide will be shared, assignment will be shared, the answers to the earlier assignments also will be shared. Okay, it will be done. So please don't get excited, worried. If you want to worry about global warming, worry about the sea rising, okay, water levels rising, worry about the environmental pollution, worry about all that. Don't worry about whether I'll be giving you my notes or not. I will. Okay, don't worry. Salam. Now we will move to okay, let me see if anybody has any question before I jump into the today's topic. I don't see any basic questions. I see my good friends here. I see Mahadev Bharadwaj, Sushil Kumar. I see Memon Rafiq Ba. Pooja is here with her greeting. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Thank you. And I definitely greet you well, madam. And we have Barik, Ayush Agarwal. Welcome, sir. Sangeeta is here. A lot of you are here. Mageshwaran is here. Welcome, sir. And so many of you are, I'm sure, here, but I will not acknowledge. Since you are here, I'm acknowledging you just to give the feel of a regular, physical. Okay, enter my virtual space. I've entered your virtual space, right? But don't let anybody enter your mind. Your mind is yours. Control it. Okay, got the difference between consciousness and mind? You know me, I know you. So entityship, recognizing each other. That's it. But you try to enter my mind? No, I won't try to enter your mind. Okay, my opinions are mine, yours are yours. Very important going forward. Occupied by somebody else. Okay, let it be independent. Especially if you're going to become a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Okay, restriction on voting rights. Friends, again I'll tell you, one of the important rights of a member is voting. In fact, that would be the most important right, boss. Once I become a member of a company, what I will do, nothing, I have to simply keep watching because a member cannot enter into the day-to-day management. If you are a shareholder of some company, you are not a director, the security will not let you in without a proper pass. Because you might say, I am a member of this company, I am a part owner of this business. Agreed. But you have no business even putting your foot inside the campus without the permission of the MD. Day-to-day management fully controlled by the directors. Dichotomization or division of ownership and control. So the one important right of a member is voting. The ancillary rights are the right to receive a notice, the right to receive, these are all rights of a member. The right to be given all the information, the explanatory, that's a right. Explanatory statement in connection with the agenda for the meeting, the right to appoint a proxy, the right to attend in person or through proxy, okay, and the right to vote in any way he wants. This is a fundamental right. Of course, in addition to that, they have the two more rights, the right to receive the dividend and the right to, if on declaration, and the right to receive the repayment of capital at the time of winding up of the company. If you really look at it, okay, the right to transfer the shares and the right to have the transfer registered in the records of the company. Got it? If search around, I think these are the rights. In case you can think of any other rights, share. I've given you broadly the rights. So one of the important rights is voting right, and you're trying to restrict it. So it is not as if the law will permit huge restriction on voting rights. The only situation may not have paid his calls because you are a member, you are having certain rights. Now, the minute you say you got rights, friend, you got duties also. So what could be the duties of a member? Not much, except one, major. Suppose the company has issued partly paid shares. There would be some uncalled portion, right? But the unpaid, uncalled portion. So when the calls are made, the member has to pay. In case the calls are not paid, they are called calls in arrears. He will not be entitled to receive dividend on calls in arrears. In addition to that, the articles of a company may provide that no member shall exercise any voting right in respect of any shares registered in his name in the following circumstances. So the articles should provide that a member cannot exercise his voting right. In two circumstances, presently payable by him have not been paid on such shares. Any calls or other sums presently payable by him have not been paid on such shares. So where there is a calls in arrears, if the articles so provide, voting rights cannot be exercised in respect of those shares on which there is a call due, unpaid, beyond the due date. Please again be careful. Very important point. The call, you might have given him 1 month to pay. Within that 1 month, there is no arrears. But on the expiry of the 1 month, the company has exercised any right of lien, L-I-E-N, lien. This word we'll be seeing when we come to, maybe if I am having the opportunity to talk to you on that, when we come to indemnity and guarantee, stuff like that, especially when we speak about bailment, I will talk about lien. Lien is the right to retain. Lien is a right to retain. That's all. When will it be exercised? When there is something owes money to the company and is not paid it. Till that amount is paid, the shares can be, the right of lien will be exercised. How? The company has the right at a board resolution, they will mark the shares as not transferable, but provided the member has a due. Okay. In those two cases, they will also say, Baba, you owe money to the company. Please pay it. In the meantime, these shares, you cannot sell it. Company cannot sell those shares, not do anything with it. The company will say no more transfer on these shares. I'm locking it. If it is a physical certificate, share certificate, when the certificate comes, they'll hold it. He can't transfer it because the transferee's name will not be entered. If it is a DP, they will simply inform the DP with the board resolution, ask him to mark in the record as lien mark, like that. See, the same lien can be exercised by a banker also. We'll see that. That's what we'll see that when we come to bailment and pledge and stuff, when we come to pledge and all that. Basically, A owes money to B. B has the right to retain movable goods. Lien is a right to retain possession of movable goods. It's a very interesting topic. When we come to bailment, we'll talk about it. But the point is, lien is the right to retain movable goods. So two things are needed. If you want to exercise the right of lien, you should be in possession of the goods. And remember, shares are movable goods. So I am the company. So I will say you cannot transfer and I will hold it. When the lien is being exercised on such shares, the member cannot vote in respect of those shares. But I will tell you one thing. If you have reached this stage of a company's affairs are such that a member owes money, the board of directors is exercising the right of lien, and they are not permitting him to vote, etc., etc. This should be when he will go to the tribunal for rectification of the register of members. Are you able to see this? There will be a dispute, and the company would him from voting. Our man will go to the tribunal and say they are wrongly doing it. That is why that power is done. Suppose it has been done correctly, he has to keep it. But suppose the directors are doing it with a malafide or criminal intention, they are preventing him by cooking up a debt and saying, hey, you owe money like this and all, some nonsense, then the tribunal will decide. Now are you able to understand how an application for rectification of register of members will happen? 59. How that will happen. This is how it will start. They will prevent him from voting. And if the amount of shares involved is substantial, then this guy's right as the owner of that company is being questioned. Yeah. So immediately he will go to the tribunal, file an application under 59, and then the tribunal will hear the matter. Then they will decide whether he can vote or not. Okay. Whether they will say rectify the register of members, remove the lien and give it like that. So all I am trying to tell you is, if this type of a topic has come for a company, the company is in deep shit. The owners are fighting with each other and doing well. Okay? Okay, but we are only seeing the theoretical part and I am teaching you the theory. I'm just giving you a practical example how it could happen. Very important. A company shall not, except on the above grounds, prohibit any member from exercising his voting right on any other ground. It's an inalienable right. Voting right is the most important right. You cannot restrict it or prohibit it in any way. The only way you can do, the two exceptions are what we saw above. When there is a COL scenarios, when the company has exercised a right of lien. Clear? Moving on. Now, remember, I've already made this point in my introduction. Again, I'll do this. Every member has okay, wonderful. Tanaya says, okay, if you know right of lien, I'm very happy. Again, you will come across it when you come to bailment. Wonderful. Okay, now, remember, every member has one vote on show of hands. One person, one vote. But on a poll, one share, one vote. So if you have 200 shares in Reliance Industries Limited, you have 200 votes. Now the point is, on a poll taken at a meeting of a company, a member entitled to more than one vote or his proxy were allowed, or other person entitled to vote for him, as the case may be, need not, if he votes, use all his votes or cast in the same way all the votes. Simply, it means you can split. You can vote, see, suppose I'm having 200 votes in a company. So on a poll, either me as the member or my proxy, or in case the president or a corporate is a member, the person entitled to vote for that entity, whoever it is can split the vote. Out of 200 votes, I can give 100 for, 100 against. Why I will do that? Don't ask me. You can do it if you want. That's all. Okay? Why I would do that seriously, even I don't know why. By splitting it, you are only neutralizing the effect. Okay? And if you are giving 150 for and 150 against, you are not helping anybody. Because you are anyway 150 for is going to win. Okay? So think about it. Is all I am. But power is there. They have given the power to vote differently. Now, this joint shareholder business, you have to understand. When we apply for shares, at the time of application, if more than one person has applied, they are called joint shareholders. Listed companies, to my knowledge, up to 3 people can be joint shareholders. I may be wrong. It's not important, not relevant. Up to 3 joint shareholders can be there. Okay. Now, don't worry about how many. The point is, when there is a joint shareholder, all communications will be sent only to the name of the person whose name is mentioned first. You have a list of joint shareholders in the register of members. When you made the application, if you put donkey, monkey, then donkey will be first, monkey will be next. So all communication, notices, dividend, etc., will be given only to donkey. Got it? That is the basic principle rule operating here. Okay. But otherwise, both the joint shareholders are members. But we also saw when for requisitioning for an EGM, when we were counting the number of members, we said joint shareholders will be counted as 1. So you have to see every section. The section should talk about joint shareholder. Okay. But the basic rule is the first mention. Suppose there are joint shareholders. The first mentioned fellow has come, then only his vote will be valid. The second fellow simply has to keep quiet. Suppose the first mentioned fellow has not come, He is not a proxy. No need for, he is a member. The first mentioned fellow should not be there. If the first mentioned guy is there, then only he will get a chance. But they say joint shareholders must concur in voting unless the articles provide to the contrary. That is, joint shareholders cannot vote differently. The voting in case of joint shareholders is done in the order of seniority. Here, seniority is not age. Seniority is determined on the basis of the order in which their names appear in the register of members. Later on, when we come to register of members and debenture holders, etc., we will see a problem. It is there in the institute material, study material. I liked it and I'm going to discuss it when we come there about joint shareholders. Now, very importantly, this is why we are going to see it when we come to register of members. At the time of application, the joint shareholders or the joint holders of shares have a right to instruct the order in which their names are to appear in the register. So that instruction has to be obeyed by the company. Okay, mostly that instruction is implied in the application form. In the application form, they would clearly ask you first holder, second holder, like that. You have to mention it. I suppose you put A, as I said, monkey as the first holder, donkey as second, which is intention that monkey should be first. Later on, you cannot come and tell me, no, monkey is not there, donkey. Whoever it is, you mention first and second. If you want to change it, send a mail to the, service provider. There will be a share transfer agent. Send a mail to him, giving a registered folio, instructing them to change. They will jolly well change it. That's all. Once they change it, all communications, dividend, everything will go only to the first holder. Second holder, no. Got it? We are now going to talk about circulation of members' resolution. Okay. So, normally, agenda is by the board. Normally, the board of directors decides the agenda. What is to be transacted at the meeting, they will decide. But in some cases, the members may want to propose a resolution. After all, they are the members. They have the right to propose. They might have written to the directors asking them to propose, but they are not doing it. So, how to do it? How to propose a resolution? When can the members propose resolutions? So, this section 111 provides for the members' right to propose resolutions and submit any statement with respect to the matters referred to. Okay, they can also see what happens to in a proposed resolution or business to be dealt with at the meeting. Two possibilities. One, we want to take up a matter for discussion. We want to pass a resolution. We are the members. The board of directors is not doing it. I'll give a simple example of such a resolution, but it needs other things also. That is why, if you want to understand 111, you should also appreciate special notice. When we come there, I'll again reiterate it. But right now, let me give a simple subject which is so interesting. There is a director or a MD of a company. He is patently fraudulent fellow, doing all nonsense. The members are aware of it. They want to remove him. So, they have to propose a resolution, right? Of course, for that, there is another provision. Sorry. Special notice itself is there. I'll talk about that. Okay, chalo, let's not bother about that. Because, I'm sorry, when you come to special notice, that provision itself is there for removing him. Not a problem. Let's not bother about removal of director. Let's talk about any other matter. For example, the directors have decided to sell a property. The company has a property in Nariman Point, 1,000 square feet. You calculate the value. The company, the board of directors have decided to sell it through less than the market price. Now, per se, this is something that the board can do. Buying and selling immovable property or assets doesn't need the members' approval. But members come to know about it through the information. Now the members feel, what nonsense, you can't sell that land. They have the right to pass a resolution. They can say, please. So, yeah, maybe the AGM is coming up, or Or maybe these guys are trying to propose a resolution for the sale to be on the safer side. But what you can do, if they are doing it without the knowledge of the members can send a copy of the resolution to the company and say, we want this resolution to be passed. Please include it in the agenda for the next AGM or the EGM coming up, which you have called. See, the board has already called for an EGM or an AGM. You want to propose a resolution, then this provision can be used. Of course, if you want, you can do one more thing. The members can requisition for an extraordinary general meeting. In case the company is not calling EGM, they can requisition an EGM. And at that EGM, they can pass this resolution. If they are going under 100 requisitioned EGM, there is no need for circulation of member resolution. But suppose they don't want to do that. Luckily for them, there is an AGM coming up in 3 months. Luckily for them, there is an AGM coming up or an EGM coming up. Why waste money? Anyway, the general meeting is there. In that meeting, they can say, pass this resolution, resolve that the property of the company at Nariman Point shall not be sold unless, concurrence or unless the members have passed the resolution to the effect. That is all. We are not saying anything else. We are saying if you want to sell, you have to get my approval. Got it? So that resolution can be how, that is what section 111. Also, suppose the directors are proposing to get the approval of the shareholders, they are giving some bullshit explanatory statement where they are trying to sell it to the managing director, they are giving some false information, pushing it. Members who may not know it will say, okay, chalo, go, sell it. But there may be a few members who are smart and they say, hey, some fraud is happening here. So what they may want to do is, in respect to that agenda item resolution to be passed by the members, they may want to give a statement. Are you able to understand? A statement wherein they will say the directors are proposing to sell the property. The actual market value of the property as per the sub-register, Mumbai, Nari Cafe Parade or whatever it is this. Whereas these guys are trying to sell it to the MD at 25% less. We suggest that this resolution should not be approved like that. So instead of passing a resolution, they may simply give additional information. Such a statement also has to be served to all the members if deposited correctly. All right? This is again. So there are 3 sections, where members can take an action. If the board is not doing it, they can do it. One, of course, is this. The other is 100, when they can call for an EGM. The third one will be seeing special notice, 115. Special notice where the members can give special notice with respect to certain matters. These are 3 powers given to the members. I wouldn't say they are rights, they are powers to take a decision. If the board does not do it. Okay. Now, the resolution or statement should be received from the requisite number of members as specified in section 100. I've already covered 100. At that time, I told you that this will be again mentioned in circulation of members' resolutions. So if you remember that limit, it is the limit for 111 also. If you remember it, 1/10 of the members holding 1/10 of the paid up share capital or 5 lakhs. Remember, in case of a company not having a share capital, 1/10 of the total voting power. Do you remember that? If you remember that, you don't have to worry again. It is the same. So that requisite number, that minimum number, which means one crazy member cannot do this. One idiot cannot do this. That the requisite number is at least 1/10 should be interested in this. Only then it is a valid matter to be taken up. So 1/10 is needed. Once it is received from the requisite number of members as specified in 100, it shall be circulated by the board to all members entitled to notice of the meeting and shall be taken up at the meeting. So this 111 is the power of the members to give a requisition for passing of resolution. I will complete 111 and then I'll take up the queries which you have been asking. A company shall, on requisition in writing of such number of members as required in section 100, give notice moved and is intended to be moved at a meeting, and circulate to members any statement with respect to the matters referred to in proposed resolution or business to be dealt with at the meeting. Okay. We already saw this. I'm just reproducing 101.1. Time limit for deposit of requisition. Along with the requisition, a sum reasonably sufficient to meet the company's expenses for circulation, because you want it to be circulated by post. See, in those days it was post, so it needed, you have to spend money enough for postage. So that amount should be deposited with the company. So 100 and 101, I see an important difference. As you people educated me that day, the requisitionist need not pay anything. The board has to call them EGM on requisition. In case the requisition is called, any reasonable expenses incurred by such requisitionist should be reimbursed by the company. You want to circulate some nonsense, statement, resolution, we'll do it. But you pay us the money for it. So the sum reasonably sufficient to meet the company's expenses for circulation should be deposited along with the requisition. So when should it be filed? Requisition requiring notice of resolution is to be filed. If it is an AGM, 6 weeks before requisition requiring notice of a resolution should be filed 6 weeks before any other requisition, 2 weeks before the date of meeting. Any other requisition, 2 weeks before the date of meeting, right? Now, a copy of the requisition signed by the requisitionist or 2 or more copies which between them containing the signatures of all the requisitionists shall be deposited at the registered office of the company. See, just like EGM requisition, circulation of members resolution also should be signed by or 2 or more copies which between them containing the signatures of all the requisitionists shall be deposited at the registered office of the company within the time limit prescribed above. Okay. Once the copy of resolution requiring notice has been deposited at the registered office, an AGM is called on a date within 6 weeks after the copy has been deposited. So I have deposited the requisition, then an AGM is called on a date within 6 weeks after the copy has been deposited. Then, though it is less than 6 weeks, it shall be deemed to have been properly deposited. See, I deposited the requisition. The AGM was called within 6 weeks. Then, even though I have deposited it well in advance, by calling the EGM within 6 weeks, you cannot say that I have not deposited in time. It would still be deemed to have been properly deposited. The company, now this is a very important aspect. You will come across it in other sections also. The company shall not be bound to circulate any statement as mentioned above if on the application either of the company or of any other person who claims to be aggrieved the central government, in this case the regional director, the power has been delegated to the regional director, by order declares that the rights conferred by this section are being abused to secure needless publicity for defamatory matter, right? See, this point is only applicable to statement. Only applicable to statement. So, already a resolution is proposed. As I gave you the example now, the building is being sold to the MD at a price below 25%, as claimed by the shareholder. Please understand one thing. At this stage, the members are telling. That's all. This section gives the right to the members to make a statement. Definitely important. If they don't provide proof, simply wasting time writing all bad language, saying MD is a rogue, the managing director, Mr. So-and-so, is a rogue, and he is always in the club drinking and making merry. He is not taking. Hey, come on, that is not. Do you have proof? And his intentions are fraudulent. The only purpose for which is running the company is to defraud us. Right, Baba? You think all these things. Do you have proof? So, where this right to make a statement is being abused to secure needless publicity. The word here is needless. See, suppose that fellow is a fraud. You got proof of his defrauding. It is absolutely right. You can send it to the members. You have no proof, false allegations, using abusive language, vulgar language. Then the MD who is aggrieved or the company can make an application to the regional director. And the regional director go through it. Hey, what nonsense. Be circulated. Once the central government says it need not be circulated, then it need not, the company shall not be bound to circulate. Okay. Now, an order as above by the RD may also direct that the cost incurred by the company by virtue of this section shall be paid to the company by the requisitionists, notwithstanding that they are not parties to the application. See, the application was made by the company. There is a cost for making that application. You have to take a company secretary, represent, you have to pay him the fee. That cost will have to be borne by the requisitionists. The regional director will also direct. Whatever cost is incurred by the company should be paid to the company by the requisitionists. Even though they can say, sir, we are not made the application, you made, why should I pay? Sorry, because of your action only he applied, you pay. So the whole thing hinges on the concept of defamation. The word should be such that the statement should be false. Please understand, deadly combination. To be defamation, it should affect my reputation and it should be false. Somebody makes a false allegation about me, I can sue them for damages. I have sued people for damages like that. I can sue them for damages. Because my life is definitely important for me, but my reputation is even more important. Olukam viluppam tharalan, olukam uyirinum ombappadum, says Tirukkural. Says, my virtue is more important to me than my life. So if you say, I'm not a virtuous person, if you abuse me, then I have the right to take action against you. And the law protects me by saying, in case defamatory matters are being stated, it need not be circulated. Of course, in addition to that, the managing director can take the person who has been defamed, he can take civil action against the requisitionists. That is independent. Independent of this section, he can take. Under the general law called law of torts, he can go file a civil person who is abused. Okay, which is why be very careful before you start putting stuff on Facebook or comment, negative comments on YouTube, Facebook or WhatsApp and all that. Be very, very careful. If you don't have proof, don't do it. Because especially if you're affecting an institution or an individual, they can file a suit against you for damages, for making false allegations. But if you got the proof, you caught them, then go on there. Which is why press people, are very, very careful while publishing news. Before publishing news, 100% they'll have to ensure that they have verified the facts. Otherwise, they'll be in suit for defamation. Right. In case the company does not circulate a valid requisition, when it is abusing, they need not circulate, provided the RD passes an order. Other cases, if there is a default in circulation, then the company and every officer is liable to a penalty of 25,000 rupees. So we'll move on to resolutions in a very short while. Let us see if any questions are there. I'm trying to raise my voice as much as possible. Kindly confirm if my voice is all right now. If the calls are not made by the company, no. Did you even listen to me, Mr. Gupta? I said the call might have been made. Not only that, the time given for the call is also to be considered. Suppose the company has given 30 days. For 30 days, within 30 days, if a meeting is held, he can vote. Only when the time, the company should make a call and the time given for making the payment also should be over. Then only it is called calls in arrears. So once there is a calls in arrears, then only the restriction on voting. You got it? See, regarding the do anything because I have no control over my connection. If the connection is bad and you are not able to hear me, I'm very sorry. Or my humble request is, since only Pooja is complaining, she may want to verify whether she's got any problem there. Just check up. In case of joint hold, I'm doing my best to raise my voice, speak slowly, come near the system and all that, but this is it. I cannot go beyond that. I think my connection is pretty stable. I'm using a good connection. So kindly try to do something at your end. Sorry, Pooja. That is how it is. In case of joint holder, I humbly suggest use a laptop, use an earphone, right? Two suggestions. Use a good laptop and use an earphone. Chances are it will be better. Don't use a mobile phone without it's not a good idea. In case of, ideally you should be seated at a table with a laptop in front of you, with an earphone and a paper or a scribbling pad and a pen. This is how you have to be sitting. So if you are doing something else and just casually listening to my lecture, there's a chance that you might not you, Pooja, not you. I'm telling generally to people in general. Okay, not you. In case of joint holder, the first holder appears in proxy and the second holder. Mr. Gupta, please listen to me. When the second holder or joint holders appear, there is no word, don't use the word proxy. Whether the first holder attends or the second holder attends, it is a member attending in person. Samajh gaya? Please confirm to me that you have understood this. Himanshu Gupta, confirm to me that you have understood this. When a joint holder, whether first holder, second holder, third holder, whoever is appearing, whoever is attending, proxy cannot vote. Got it? If there is a dispute on this, then it will be a opinion is that I think a couple of case laws are there on this. If I do a little research, I'll get you the case laws. But to my knowledge, when it's a good question, Himanshu. Very good, thought-provoking question. First joint shadow appoints a proxy. Second holder is in person. Member in person can vote. Proxy is once the member attends in person, proxy is cancelled. Okay, this is my view. Of course, you could also hold another view. I will not dispute on that view. It is another view, opinion. Your opinion could be that the first holder's proxy will prevail over the second holder attending in person. Now, if the articles so provide, yes. But in the silence of articles, I would strongly suggest a member in person should vote rather than a proxy of a first holder. It's an interesting question. I will also do some research on this because there is no direct answer in the case law. Only we have to see. I'll check up and I'll get back to you. In case there is any knowledge available with you, please do share it and I will love to improve my knowledge. Okay. In case of joint shareholders, all their names will be entered in the register. We'll be seeing the register of members portion. All their names will be entered in the register. But for voting, dividend, etc., only the first man will be considered. Okay. Very interesting question, Himanshu. Long time since I got this question. Once upon a time, it was asked in a physical class long ago. 17 years ago, a student asked. After that, you are asking. Beautiful, sir. So, thank you for interesting question. Let's do some research on this. I have given you my opinion, right? Or my answer. You could have a different view. You could say, sir, you only told first shareholder only. But that's a proxy. See, a proxy is an agent. Second shareholder is a member in person. Member in person is the principal, right? And the principal himself is the broader question, which is what I'm trying to say. It is not as if the second shareholder is not a shareholder or a member. He is a member in person. So how can the proxy be valid after that? Okay, both cannot vote. Only one can vote. No, I'm not saying you are complaining. I'm only saying I cannot do anything about it. See, when a query like this comes, I feel very sad because I'm doing my best to support this, but nothing is happening. One more thing, suppose any technical problem is there is a technical support person who is sitting in this meeting. See, I am coming through Zoom. There is a technical support person who is constantly monitoring me, whether my output is correct. That gentleman only will guide me. Okay? If he says there is some problem, then there is a problem. If he does not say anything, I will assume in my favor that my connection is pakka and that I am going through. So if somebody feels that I have lost my connection, then I will assure you I have not lost my connection, but you will have to check up what is happening. My connection is strong and going very strong and absolutely no problem. Okay, and that's what I need your support on this. Sir, but my connection is pakka na. What to do, sir? Shall I leave and join again? I will stop sharing. I will leave and join again and let's see what happens. Sir, how is it now? Let us see. In case, see, many students are complaining. So kindly you have to guide me because I can't go by what the student is saying. Okay. Shall I start? Friends, I have reconnected now. Let us hope it's better. I'm sorry for any inconvenience that is caused due to this. I'm doing my best to help to do this. Okay. So kindly confirm if this is okay. If you think otherwise, if the voice, I've been using this connection for the last 2 days. Okay. Right. Okay. Now we move on to something called resolutions. Right. The purpose of a meeting is to pass a resolution. Resolution is sankalp. Sankalp means decision of that is the intention of the meeting members. So if they approve the resolution, it means they are agreeable to the action. So suppose you want to amend the memorandum. Okay, thank you for confirming, Mr. Mohammed Farad. Thank you. It's not a better connection. Same connection. I've just gone out and come back. That's all. Inshallah, it should be correct. That's all I can say. Okay. Now, resolution means suppose you want to amend your memorandum object class, you have to pass a resolution. So you have to call a meeting. At that meeting, the members should agree to the amendment to the memorandum. Once they agree to it, the resolution is passed. Then the memorandum amendment is through. Okay? That is why the resolution is very important. But before we understand resolution, you should understand what is a motion. Motion is anything that is moved at a meeting. Any proposal which is moved at a meeting is called motion. So it is like a motion when passed becomes a resolution. A motion when passed becomes a resolution. So initially everything is proposed as a motion. In fact, the way we say it itself is like this. We stand up and we say, Mr. Chairman, the following agenda item be taken up. Or, Mr. Chairman, I move that the following resolution be passed as a special resolution. Then I will read out the resolution. Then once I propose it, once the motion is proposed, it has to be seconded. Please understand, this is, as I told you, there are Westminster rules and Robert rules and all. Point is very simple. A motion is proposed by one person, seconded by another person. What does it mean? It means there are at least two people in the audience who feel this is worthy of discussion or deliberation. That's all. Proposer and seconder are only ensuring that two people at least want to talk about it. Suppose the meeting is proposed and nobody is seconding it, that means it has to be abandoned. There's no point. Nobody is even seconding it. Okay, so motion is proposed, seconded and put to vote. In fact, one of the popular questions in meetings is, though it's not in your syllabus, in those days and all, in ACS and all, you say, see, a motion is proposed by A, seconded by B. Can seconder vote against the resolution? See, the resolution is proposed by A, seconded by B. For that matter, can the proposer or seconder vote against the resolution? They can, because all they are trying to say here in proposing is they are not recommending the resolution. They are merely saying, let us take up this resolution for voting. Seconder also says, let us take it up for voting. Now, once it is put to vote, I can vote any way I want, right? So, but the idea of proposing and seconding is to ensure that at least two people are there in the audience or in the meeting interested in taking up that matter and talking about it. Okay. There are two types of motions, a substantive motion and a procedural motion. A substantive motion pertains to the item of agenda. See, I put agenda items there to amend the object class, to amend the articles. These are all substantive motions. They will be there as items of agenda. You cannot propose a substantive motion at the meeting. You cannot propose a substantive motion at the meeting. A substantive motion should be mentioned in the notice. You have to give sufficient notice. In case you want to take up an item at the meeting, which is a substantive matter, sorry, the meeting shall be adjourned. Fresh notice should be given in compliance with the sections, along with any explanatory statement. Then at the adjourned meeting, you can take it up. But original meeting, if that was not part of the agenda, you cannot take it up. You can take it up at an adjourned meeting, provided notice is given. Or else you can say this will be taken up at another meeting. You can have another meeting. At that time, you can take it up. Suppose some new subject comes up. The chairman feels it is worthy of passing or it has to be done. Adjournment is there. The chairman will adjourn the meeting to a date. He may adjourn it, sign a die, or he might give a date. Whatever it is, the board of directors have to again give a fresh notice. and you have to give, the new subject needs to be explained, and then only you can take it up at the agenda meeting. Okay? So substantive motions pertain to item of agenda need to be mentioned in the notice. Procedural motions relate to conduct of the meeting. Meaning, see, adjournment is a procedural motion. Whether to adjourn or not, we will adjourn. That decision is a procedural motion. Demanding a poll is a procedural motion. For example, voting is by show of hands. Immediately a proxy stands up and says, Mr. Chairman, I move that a poll be taken. Then the chairman will ask him, how many votes have you got? Of course, it should also be seconded. Then, how many votes have you got? So they count the vote. He's got sufficient number of votes. Then the poll shall be taken. Otherwise, it may be taken by the chairman. Even if he is not having the request or the qualifying number, still the chairman on his own motion can take it up. He can say, let's have a poll. But if he is having that minimum number, then the poll shall be taken. Okay? Election of chairman itself is a procedural motion. Okay? Somebody says, let's elect Donkey to the chair. Another person seconds it. Then put to vote. Show of hands. Okay? Elected. These are all procedural motions. Please understand the difference between substantive motion and procedural motion. A substantive motion, when approved by the required majority, is said to be passed. A motion, when passed, is a resolution. Okay? So, there are two types of resolutions. Ordinary resolutions and special resolutions. We've already seen this earlier itself. I mentioned it very clearly. So, for an ordinary resolution, is required under this act has been duly given, which means you cannot suddenly take up a subject in the meeting. You should have given notice about that item, along with the explanatory statement, etc., etc. If it is a special business, you should give. For a resolution to be passed as an ordinary resolution, the votes cast in favor of the resolution, including the casting vote, if any. Do you remember when we spoke about poll, I talked about casting vote. It is an additional vote. When there is a tie, the chairman has an additional vote. Okay, including the casting vote. If the votes cast in favor of the resolution, including the casting vote, if any of the chairman, by members who being entitled to do so, vote in person or where proxies are allowed by proxy or by postal ballot. So, votes may be cast by members in person or where the proxy. Casting vote of the chairman is also considered. Then the votes are counted. Now, the votes cast in favor exceed the votes cast against, if any, against. Votes, if any, cast against the resolution by members so entitled and voting. So, only those members who vote will be counted. Any member prefers not to vote, his vote will not be counted. Even if he comes in person, if he is not voting, if he is neutral, neither for nor against, you will ignore him. You should take only votes cast against and for, and see if the votes cast in favor exceed the votes cast against, if any. Ordinary resolution is fairly simple. You can even call it simple majority. But special resolution, be very careful. It is easy. Surprised because till yesterday there was no problem at all till last class, and I was so happy that there is no problem in my connection, and I am finding it very difficult to handle this. Let us see. One of my favorite students not able to hear, feeling bad. What to do? Anyway, I will continue with the lecture. Let us hope that the video at least would come out, which you can download and watch. So for a special resolution, notice required under this act has been duly given. That is important. Any agenda item which is substantive, notice has to be given. Also, the intention to propose the resolution as a special resolution has been duly specified in the notice. Very important. If that is not mentioned, it is a violation. Please understand, while I am drafting the notice, I have to be very careful. If a resolution is to be passed as a special resolution, the agenda is stated as to pass the following resolution as a special resolution. That should be there in the agenda. To pass the following resolution as a special resolution. If that is not mentioned, invalid. Even if you pass the special resolution, it is invalid. It can be questioned. If somebody wants to question it, they can say the notice calling the meeting has not mentioned that it is to be passed as a special resolution. Right? Now, a special resolution, if these two conditions should be satisfied, then the votes cast in favor of the resolution, including the casting vote of the chairman, by members who being entitled so to do vote in person or proxy or by postal ballot, etc., etc. Okay. The point is, votes cast in favor of the resolution shall be not less than 3 times the number of the votes, if any, cast against the resolution by members so entitled and voting. This is very important. The votes cast in favor of the resolution shall be not less than 3 times the number of votes, if any, cast against. Friends, we already discussed it earlier and I told you, again, I'm actually covering 114 and I'm telling you, do not use words like 2/3 majority, 3/4 majority, etc. That is wrong. 3/4 majority will happen only in one peculiar instance, where the votes cast in favor is exactly 1/4 of the total number of members present and voting. Only then you will get 3/4 majority math-wise. But the section does not use the word 3/4 majority or 2/3 majority. Section is very clear. Not less than 3 times the number of votes cast, if any, cast against. So, basic formula is like this. You have to count the number of votes cast against, if any, because no vote may be cast against. I will give you one peculiar problem where when there is no vote cast against, a special resolution can be passed with only one fellow voting in for. Okay? So, whatever it is, count the number of votes cast against. Multiply by 3. Then see if the votes cast in favor is equal to that number or more. So, let us say, we'll have one example. In the following cases, has a special resolution been passed in the following cases? Okay, what I will suggest, you read the slide. Then 1, 2, 3. You just put your answer there saying 1 special SR, 2, or you can say 1 SR pass, whatever. You give your answer 1, 2, 3. Let me see. Yeah. And Pooja is absolutely correct. It is like a bill. A motion is like a bill. You are right, madam. You are absolutely correct. A motion is like a bill. Once it is passed, it becomes an act. So, motion becomes a resolution, bill becomes an act when passed. Beautiful. Of course, passing by both the houses of parliament and also assent of the president, notification in the official gazette. All this is needed. But once all this is done, it becomes an act. Absolutely good comparison. Chalo, I'm sorry about the voice part. Let's hope it's corrected now at least, because I'm unable to find out. I need you to give your answers. I'm waiting for you to give your answers. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No. I'm only waiting for answers to come. I put up a question and I'm waiting for some answers to come. Anyway, since nobody is putting up any answers here, I shall presume that you got upset with my voice problem and you have moved away, decided not to continue with the class or something like that. I don't know. Okay. So I'm not getting any responses after this. So let us hope that answers are coming. One or two answers. Video is not stuck. I'm not moving it. I'm keeping it there for you to see. I don't know. Puja is happens with technology through me. I think I don't know. Seriously, not able to handle this. Sometimes it happens, technology troubles us. Okay, since I'm not getting many answers, I will move with the explanation. First one, 3 members attend the meeting of a private company. 2 members are in favor of the motion. Okay, 1 is neutral, none against. 1 is neutral, none against. Why I make that point, none against? Because to help you understand that 1 neutral wala should not be considered as a against. 3 attend, 1 neutral, 2 in favor. Have I passed a special resolution? Yes, I have. How? Sir, 1 yes, sir, 2 yes, sir. Hitesh Jain, your response is blank. I'm not seeing it. Yeah. Tanaya Parkar is saying 1 no, 2 no, 3 yes, sir. This is the confusion. How did I tell you to see if it's a special resolution? See how many votes against. In the first example, number of votes against is 0. So the number of votes cast in favor should be not less than 3 times the number of votes cast against. Not less than 3 times. Now, my dear friends, 0 is the number of votes cast against. What is 3 times 0? 3 times 0 is still 0. So 2 is greater than 0. So special resolution is passed in the first case. Be very, very careful. That is why don't mug up this 3/4, 3/4, 3/4. There is no 3/4, there is no 2/3. Please don't do that. Maybe some college level professors, your own, some books might have confused you. Don't do that. The section is very clear. Votes cast in favor should be not less than 3 times. Chalo. So first case, number of votes cast is 0, against is 0. 0 into 3 is still 0. 2 is greater than 0. Therefore, since the votes cast in favor, the members attending and voting is not less than 3 times the number of votes cast against. First case, special resolution passed. Okay. Second, 2 members attend the meeting. Only 2 guys are attending. 1 member is in favor. The other does not vote. 1 member in favor. Very important. The other does not vote. Suppose that guy votes against, gone. Please, the very, very important point. Suppose 2 members attend, 1 in favor, 1 against, special resolution not passed. Why? Because it is not more, 3 times. 1 man is voting in favor, against now, 1 into 3 is only 1 in favor. So it won't satisfy. But if the other fellow does not vote, this fellow is in favor, special resolution passed. Okay. Private company, 2 members, valid quorum. Quorum is present. Okay. Present and voting. Please understand, quorum is present. If quorum is not present, that's a different problem. Quorum is present. 2 members have come. Only 1 fellow comes and passes in favor. Sorry, not possible. Because quorum is not present. But 2 fellows have come. Quorum is there. They take up the matter. 1 fellow does not vote. Neutral. The other fellow votes. So votes cast against is 0. Again the same rule. Into 3, 0. 1 is greater than 0. See, that's why I'm reinforcing the formula. Okay. Public company, 5 members attend the meeting of a company having 200 members. It doesn't matter whether the company has 200 members or 500 members. How many are attending? 5. Out of that, 3 are in favor. Ignore. 3 are favor, 1 against. So 1 is against now. Anchor that. Anchor 1 into 3. I get 3. So 3 members are in favor. So the votes cast in favor is not less than. It can be equal to. There is no tie in special resolution. It can be equal to. The number of votes cast in favor can be exactly equal to the votes cast against. 3 times the votes cast against, if any. So 1 into 3 is 3. 3 members are in favor. Special resolution passed. In all the 3 cases, special resolution has been passed. Okay. Beautiful. In all cases, passed. Shriya. Correct. 3, it is not a draw. Please, Ayush ji, in special resolution case, there is no tie. Because what is the definition? See, here it says exceeds. Here it says not less than. So 3 is not less than the number of votes, 3 times the number of votes cast against, right? It's exactly 3 times the resolution is passed. But in the case of an ordinary resolution, if the votes are exactly equal and the chairman does not exercise the casting vote, it is a tie. That means the resolution is not passed. But for special resolution, it is passed. Okay? So this is a very, very important area. Please understand. So that I'm giving you some peculiar cases where you will be able to work. So what am I understanding from this? I am understanding one thing. If it is a special resolution, first thing I have to do is step 1, count the number of votes cast against, or rather step 0, ignore neutral votes. Find out how many have attended or how many have attended, voted in proxy, or even on a poll, it is the same thing. Except that here, 1 vote will be 1 share, whatever it is. Those attending either in person or by proxy and voting, count the votes. Ignore those guys who are not voting. They might have come, not voted. That is not my problem. Have his jangri and go. But I will ignore him. He is not against. He is not for. He is sitting on the wall. Ignore. Guys who vote for, count. Guys who vote against, count. On a poll, postal ballot, whatever it is, I have counted, sir. Now I am the scrutinizer. What I have to do? I have to first see, step 1, I have to look at the number of votes cast against. Count. Okay, 200. 200 votes against. Chalo. Then I have to simply do multiply by 3. Take calculator, multiply by 3. 600. Then I have to see what is the number of votes cast in favor. It should be or it can be exactly equal to 600. No problem. Or it can be, if it is exactly equal to 600, 3 times, motion is passed. Okay. In case it is more than that, 800, 1000, 1500, no problem. More the merrier. Right? But if it is exactly equal to 3 times, the resolution is passed. Right? Equal also is allowed. So I think slowly you have understood the point. Little bit of unlearning is needed for many of us in this case because consistently college professors have confused you. Consistently people who are writing books thinking that they are simplifying it are confusing you. Simplification is one thing. You should not simplify in such a way that you are wrong. Okay? Check it. We now move on to, all 3 are special resolution is the correct answer. And I have also explained to you how all 3 are special resolution. Okay. So those of you who have said 2 yes, 3 yes, 1 yes, all are yes, yes, yes. Oh, Mr. K. Boss, Mr. K, what is your full name? Because your name appears here as Mr. K. Very intriguing. One second. Special resolution can be passed in all cases. Sir, in case 3, if it is given that 5 members attend meeting on behalf of 200 members, no, they cannot attend on behalf of. Are you saying that the 5 members are proxies? Then the meeting is invalid because I need minimum 5 members attending in person. See, why I have given 200 now? Can you understand why I have given 200? To ensure, to show you that the quorum is correct. Up to 1000 members, the quorum is 5 members attending in person. So, 5 members in person can also be proxy for some more members. Okay, there is not a problem. But the answer will not change here. How many guys attended? 5. They are not proxies. They are attending in person. The remaining 195 fellows have not come. Not my problem. They have not appointed proxy. That is not my problem. How many came? 5 came. In person is a valid quorum. Quorum is present. I am the chairman. I can start the meeting. Started. Now vote. Putting to vote. Okay. Voting is happening in this way. It's voting. They cannot be representatives. You don't use the word representative. Okay. Or on behalf. Are you saying that they are proxies? If so, you should then there should be a poll. You are only complicating the matter. Suppose there are, then I should know how many of 5 members cannot be proxies for all of the 200. Got it? Because one person cannot be for more than 50. Maybe if you distribute it and give, see, you are complicating the question. Thank you, Mr. Prashant. So nice of you. I will not refer you as Mr. K anymore. I will refer to you as Mr. Prashant. It's a nice name. Now, Ankur Singh Patel, don't confuse. Proxies are there, then show of hands will fail. Then one member, one man, one vote will not be there. Who is holding how much shares and all that, which information is not available in this problem. So don't confuse. If you want such a complicated problem, I'll set in the assignment where we'll have proxies, we'll have a demand for poll, and then we'll have a poll also. On the poll, Baba, finally, what is the point? Count the number of votes cast against, multiply by 3. It's not rocket science. See what is the number of votes cast in favor. If it is equal to or more, passed. That's all. Okay. Many times, an intelligent student is one who does not confuse himself or herself. A really smart student will go to the principle, understand the principle, float, see what is practical, what is important from the real life point of view, and float with the subject. The essence of the subject will go into them. They won't get confused. When a complicated matter comes up, if they are sound on principles, you can answer any complicated question. But if you are not sound on principle and you are only mugging up problem after problem after problem, the answer. So if this question comes, this is the answer. If that question comes, this is the answer. Not a good approach. No. This is the principle operating for this section. I know the principle. I will apply the principle. That's all. We move on to another topic. Before I go there, let me see what the time is. It is 8:29. I think we have done that. I might be having a class tomorrow because today we may not be able to complete the entire topic. If I'm trying to do that, if I do that, good, but I don't want to rush over the topic. So if I'm not able to complete it today, we will continue it tomorrow morning also, right? Anyway, so let us not bother. Now, before we go to special notice, let us have a small break for 5 to 10 minutes, right? Sir, break, sir. Mr. Ram, break. Okay. Welcome back from a well-deserved break. So we saw special resolution. Now we are going to see special notice. As I already mentioned, there is no ordinary notice. Notice. Notice is given by the company to the members for the general meeting. Special notice is a notice given by the members to the company. It won't be given just like every time. It's a rare occasion. Once in a while, for certain important matters, the members may give a notice to the company. Right? Where any provision in the Act requires special notice, it shall be given in accordance with Rule 23. That's what it says there. Now, I'm going to summarize the rule for you. First is the minimum number of members. Special notice shall be given. So, first point is where the Act says required, only then special notice. Otherwise, no need. Right? Otherwise, you can go through 111. You can requisition for the resolution to be moved at the meeting. Straight away, go through 111. Or if the board of directors refusing to hold the meeting or have a meeting, requisition a meeting under 100. 3 solutions are there. In case in future when you become a senior chartered accountant, you are consulted by a company or one of the group in that company. It can happen regularly. It happens. As I was mentioning now, even recently, I am having a consultation in the case of a company where there is a dispute between the 3 shareholders. 2 fellows are having a view. The third fellow is cheating them. Doing certain things which are against the business. Okay. So I'm advising them on how to, solve it. No. So in fact, we are drafting the MOU for them. Initially, I'm trying to mediate and try to bring them together. Then we will start with the act. Okay, so as a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, though company secretary is supposed to be expert in company law, company secretary is expert in company law, having agreed that, still, when they want advice, when they want counseling, when they want consulting, the first stop is their auditor. The member in practice, chartered accountant, the auditor, then they come to him. So you cannot, at that time when they come to you, be ignorant of the law. You can't say, I don't know anything about company law. You go to company secretary. Initially, we should be able to advise them with the basic, our understanding of law. Then we can send them to a more expert person. See? Okay. So, just for your information. Now, so, special notice shall be given by such number of the total voting power. Total voting power is simply the total number of votes which can be cast on a resolution if all the votes are cast by members, whether in person or by proxy. The total number of votes which can be cast on any matter if all the members are voting in person or through proxy. Company has 200 members. No share capital. What is the total voting power? No share capital means one man, one vote. Only members, each member. So 200 votes. That is the total voting power. Company has 200 members. Paid up capital is 2 lakhs divided into 20,000 shares of rupees 10 each. 2 lakh rupees divided into 20,000 shares of 10 each. 200 members. Now, what is the total voting power? On show of hands, 20,000. Total voting power is 20,000. Because on a poll, 1 share, 1 vote. No differential voting ratios. All are normal equity. Then 1 share, 1 vote. Total number of shares, 20,000. Total voting power, 20,000. That is all. So, Members holding not less than 1% of the total voting power. 1%. Okay. 20 on a poll, 20,000, right? 200 votes is the members holding 200 shares. 1% out of 20,000 is enough if I hold 200 shares or more, not less than 1% of the total. Got it? Or holding shares on which an aggregate sum of not less than 5 lakh has been paid up on the date of the notice. So, whichever is less is implied here. It is not mentioned, but it is implied. In my example, 200 shares will be having only 2,000 value, 10 rupees. Still, if I am holding 1%, I am entitled crores, 60 crores. Then 1% itself may be huge. It is enough if I have 5 lakh worth capital, paid up capital, right? Now, special notice should be given by this group. It's pretty small. They made it little small so that it's a right available to members. They don't want to make it tough. Can do it. So the special notice should be sent by members to the company not earlier than 3 months, but at least 14 days before the date of the meeting at which the resolution is to be moved. Okay, exclusive of the day on which the notice is given and the day of the meeting. Clear days. Remember? In fact, a special notice is to be given at least not earlier than 3 months. So up to 3 months you can go and give advance, but minimum at least 14 days before the date of the meeting. So 14 days when you are calculating, you should not include the date of giving of the notice. But when a member is sending a notice to the company by ordinary post, the notice is deemed to be delivered 48 hours from the time of posting. Same reverse. Same rule reverse. Right? Suppose you are sending it by courier, then no problem. Courier delivery date is there for me. If you are sending it by speed post, no problem. Delivery date is there. That date shall not be included. If it is sent by ordinary post, there is no delivery date. We cannot establish delivery date. That is why they say deemed to be delivered. If you put it in ordinary course of post, it is deemed to be delivered 48 hours. Of course, in this case, the members will not take a risk. Either they will go in person and deliver in person or through an agent like a courier or something or the post office. In speed post, the post office is your agent and he is agreeing to deliver it at a certain, within a certain time. So, proof of delivery is there. So that becomes the date of delivery or date of notice. Date on which notice is given. Not including that, 14 clear days should be there. After that, the date of the meeting. Same, the diagram that we use for AGM notice, instead of AGM, instead of 21 days, you put 14 days. Date of posting, date of delivery, 48 hours gap. Then don't include the date of delivery or date on which the notice is given. Start counting 14. Last day, 14th day. Next day should be the meeting or later. Okay. Less than 14 days if you give, the special notice is invalid. Now, the company has received the special notice. What is the duty of the company? The company should circulate the notice to all the members entitled to receive notice of the meeting at least 7 days before the meeting. Again, it is 7 clear days. That is exclusive of day of dispatch of notice. They don't say date of giving of notice. Here they say date of dispatch and day of meeting. So you dispatch it. Proof of dispatch is with you. That day ignore. Then start counting 7. 7th day. The meeting date should be 1 day after that. Got it? So the sequence is like this now. I give the members 21 days notice. For say, for the AGM, I give the members 21 clear days notice. So member gets it. Member gets the AGM notice 21 clear days before the meeting. He goes through it. He wants to propose a he wants to give special notice. No problem. Now he should prepare the special notice and send it to me so as to reach me, the company, at least 14 clear days before the meeting. He can do that now. 21 days, within that 14 days. Now I am getting it now. He has sent it and I am getting it. Now, from the date I am getting it, I have this. So I should immediately dispatch it to all the members so that it reaches at least 7 days before the meeting, not including the date of dispatch and the date of meeting. So sequence is like that. But suppose the members have already deposited 3 months before, then no problem. I have to wait. Next time when I'm calling the meeting, I should ensure that along with the meeting notice, 21 days notice, I will include this item also. Because it's already deposited, it has to be included. But usually it will not be done that way. Especially if you see the matters requiring special notice. 2 matters only require special notice. 2 matters require special notice. Appointing a person other than the retiring auditor at an AGM. Appointing a person other than the retiring auditor at an AGM. 140. The other section is not in your syllabus. 169, not in your syllabus. Removal of your director, not in your syllabus. At that meeting. So if these two, actually it's 2 matters only. If you really look at it, appointing a person other than the retiring auditor at an AGM. 140 subsection 4. It is in your syllabus. We'll be seeing it when we come to auditors. Removal of a director and appointing a person in the place of the director so removed at that meeting. So, Mr. Donkey is the managing director of the company. You want to remove him because he is a fraud. You have to move a special notice. So, you find that the company is going to have an AGM. You receive the notice of AGM 21 days before. You see the MD's name, Mr. Donkey. No, Donkey should not be a director. Remove him. So, you have to propose a special notice. Right? Propose that Mr. Donkey be and is hereby removed as a director of the company. Automatically, once you remove him as a director, he will automatically cease to be a managing director. So, remove him to remove Mr. Donkey as a director of the company. That a suit be filed against Mr. Donkey to recover the damages or losses incurred by the company because of his whatever resolution you want, you give it to us. Yeah. But if it's for removal of a director, you have to give it not less than 14 clear days before the date of meeting. Or you are seeing the notice, chartered accountant, ABC and company. No, ABC should not be. So you want to appoint a person other than the retiring auditor at that AGM. Then you have to. Removal of a director can be at an EGM also. If at the same meeting you want to appoint your friend as the director, then that should also be given as a special notice. Okay. So only 2 matters required, rather 2 sections talk about special notice. 140 and 169. Only 2 sections talk about special notice in the entire Companies Act. Okay. Actually, I think I've left out 1 matter. That is, there are 4 matters, 2 sections. Appointing a person that the retiring auditor shall not be reappointed. Requires a special notice. Removal of director or appointment of a person in the place of the director so removed at that meeting requires a special notice. Okay. Now, special items of special notice are not special resolution. Appointment of auditor is not a special resolution. Removal of a director is not a special resolution. Ordinary resolution is enough. So, these 4 matters which require special notice are not those which require special resolution. Also, they are not special business if done at an AGM. Are you able to understand? If you are going to appoint a person other than the retiring auditor at an AGM, it is not a special business. It is an ordinary business. Okay. Whereas removal of director is a special business. Right? Even if it is done at an AGM, it is a special business. Right? So, matters requiring special notice, only removal of none of them is a special resolution. Only ordinary resolution. More for your information. Because some of you will be thinking, special notice means, so don't think special notice means automatically special resolution. No. Appointing a person other than the retiring auditor, removal of director, appointing of a director in the place of the directors who are removed, expressly resolving that the retiring auditor shall not be reappointed. All these matters are ordinary resolution. Okay? Removal of director is a special business. Even appointing at an AGM, if you are appointing a person other than the retiring auditor at an AGM, it is an ordinary business. Okay? I have not included that item. That is appointing a person other than the retiring auditor at an AGM or expressly resolving that the retiring auditor shall not be reappointed at an AGM. Okay? Anyway, don't worry. I will be covering section 140, subsection 4. Cover special notice for you. Don't worry. I'll again take up special notice because by then maybe you might not remember what I taught you here. So I will again cover quickly special notice then. Okay. Now, so the members give me the special notice 14 days before I receive it. Now, I'm having say 50,000 members. To each of them, I cannot post it. So the law says where it is not practicable. The word used here is where it is not practicable. We have seen the same word in a different way. Where it is impracticable to hold an AGM. If you remember, the tribunal's power to call a meeting other than AGM, it says where it is impracticable. Here they say where it is not practicable. The notice may be published at least 7 days before the meeting, exclusive of the day of publication of the notice and day of the meeting in 2 newspapers, one in English. Where it is not practicable, the notice may be published at least 7 days before the meeting, exclusive of the day of publication of the notice and day of meeting in 2 newspapers, one in English and one in vernacular. You have to show that if you want to publish a special notice, instead of sending it to the members by every member, then you have to show that it is not practicable. But in today's context of e-voting and electronic mail, you can always send it by electronic mode. So that should not be a problem. So easily you can send it before 7 days. So today with electronic mail and all, this is becoming a little irrelevant. Nevertheless, you can give an advertisement if you want, rather than send a letter by post, which could be costly. So you should say it is not practicable. Maybe time is not sufficient. Dispatching is going to be difficult. So we can say, we'll give an ad. Vernacular circulating in that area. Right? Good. Certain resolutions and agreement have to be filed with the registrar. We'll talk about that. Certain resolutions and agreements, together with the explanatory statement, if any, to be annexed to the notice under section 102, to be filed with the registrar. Just looking if any query has come in the meantime and I have missed it out. Some queries are there. I'm again and again refreshing it. Yeah, let us take up these queries and then we will move on. We have a query from Mr. Raghavan. What will happen if the special notice given by member and the company left out with 6 days only for the date of meeting? How can a company give notice? This is exactly the situation. Okay? Where it is not practicable, you have to give. So if there is, what will happen if the special notice says what to do? My best suggestion would be, in those cases, you make an application to the tribunal and get an order. That's all. If you, to be on the safer side, you go to the regional director and get an order. That's all. There is no provision for that in this section, but at least go to the regional director and give a letter saying only on such and such a date. See, whose fault is it? Think about it. Suppose, it's a very good question, very practical question, Mr. Raghavan. I appreciate your question first, but I'm thinking, see, he is giving it 14 days before the meeting, 14 clear days before the meeting. That gives you very little leeway. Absolutely correct. It could become. So it means the minute you get it, you have to be alert. You have to give the notice that day itself. Maybe it may not be possible. I'm totally with you on this. There is no solution in the law. I can only create an ad hoc solution. I can say, after all, you are in good faith, do it, right? You send it. Less than 6 days, you send it to the members. If you want to be safe, advertise it also. Okay? And at that meeting, you take up that matter. You take up that matter. Then nobody can have any complaint, right? You sent 7 days was violated, no doubt. It is a procedural lapse. You didn't have time. If you want, what I would do if I'm chairman of that meeting is, I will, when I'm taking up that matter itself, I will say, gentlemen, the notice was received exactly at 5 p.m. on this date. I could only give the notice next day. Next day when I gave it a thing. That is why you notice one thing, they say exclusive of the day of dispatch of notice. So it is enough if you dispatch the notice. Then 7 days should be there. But even that may not be a problem, may be a problem. So in this case, what I would say is, we tried our best. This guy's notice came only at 5 p.m. I couldn't do anything about it. And first of all, I have to, and remember, all you have to do is, you have to just send a copy to the members. You don't have to do anything else. It is your duty to circulate. You have done your best. You could not do it. Then you can propose a resolution, motion. The chairman can ask one of the members to move a motion that even though less than 6 days was not, 7 days was not given, we will go ahead with the resolution. If majority agree to it, we can go ahead with the resolution. After all, what is the point of this whole exercise? To ensure that the matter is taken up at the meeting, right? Taken up at the meeting. So this is being taken up at the meeting. Therefore, even those people the guys who gave the special notice may agree to it. They may say, chalo, it's okay, sir. You gave less than 7 days. We are agreeable to it. If they say that, then to be on the safer side, letter of this matter and submit it to the regional director and tell him, sir, in case you receive any complaint, please note, we have done like this. So that becomes some sort of a protection for you. Right? Is the point. After all, what is the worst thing that can happen? They could take action against you under the Companies Act. There is no penalty under this section. There is no penalty under this section. But there is a general penalty clause is there. Under that, you might be penalized 25,000 rupees. That's why I'm saying, go to who is going to take action against you? The regional director. Go and follow the dispute straight away and tell him that this is what to do. Please advise us what to do. That's all. He has to get to advise you. Since you have asked a very practical question, I am giving a very practical answer. Electronic means is not here, but any notice given by the company can be given by electronic means. That is already there in the rules. Incorporation rules, it is already there. Any notice to be given can also be given by electronic means. Okay. So, no problem if you send an email. No problem if you send an email. Why in newspaper we haven't seen any time any... For this, I should presume that Mr. Ayush Agarwal will be reading every page of the newspaper he is reading every day. Then only you can say, I have not seen it. Maybe when you didn't see it was there. Okay, this is just a joke. Huh? So, reading every page of the newspaper every day is not a good idea. Waste of your time. Don't do that. Okay. But so, why you haven't seen, how I can say why you haven't seen here. No company is issuing it. But 115 and all, if somebody is giving, it's a very rare occasion. Rare occasion. It will happen 1.001% of the time, only 115 will be invoked. See, think about it. What are the points that are being considered here? auditor is being, some other person, the auditor is a discredited auditor, or removing a director, all disputed cases. Rarely you will find there will be any dispute like this. So these provisions are there. To my knowledge, I have also not seen any in the newspaper. Okay, this is the best answer I can give you. If you want, for your sake, Mr. Ayush Agarwal, I will ask one company who is my client that I have members. I will say, hey, you give special notice, man, and then you release an advertisement. That too, see, releasing advertisement to the newspaper is only an option. It is not compulsory. Only if it is not practicable. But suppose I can send an email, I will send it, then you will never see that advertisement. Advertisement is only an option. So, rarely you will see it. It is impossible to see. Okay. Very good questions you are asking. I am very happy. Okay. Now, you are aware that any document which is filed with the registrar of companies is a public. So this section 117 wants certain resolutions and agreements to become public domain. Certain resolutions and agreements, along with the explanatory statement annexed to the notice, should be filed with the registrar. Once it is filed, what happens? It becomes a public document, right? So when it should be filed? Within 30 days of the passing or making thereof. So within 30 days of passing of the resolution or making of the agreement, it has to be filed with the registrar. Format, in the case of an IFSC public or private company, the time limit is 60 days. Okay. In the case of a specified IFSC public or private company, we already saw what is an IFSC public or private company. I will not explain again. If you didn't attend that class, I'm sorry. Anyway, this is there in the Google. Just go and Google IFSC or Center. Okay, there they will give you. IFSC is an International Financial Services Center. It can be held by a company, holding by a company, public or private. Some special privileges are given to these fellows because they operate within India, but they service foreign clients. And they bring in net foreign exchange to us. So we exempt them or we relax many of the sections of company law or other law for them. Okay, that is the point. So in the case of an IFSC public or private company, the time limit is 60 days. One more thing, IFSC public or private company is an Indian company. They may have foreign shareholders, but it's an Indian company operating within India, but servicing foreign clients, right? How? The resolution should be filed in form number MGT 14. MGT 14, right? So MGT 14 is the format. So in those days, it used to be called Form 24. So happens it used to be called Form 24. See, so that's it. Jnanam apohanam cha. The memory is going slowly. The old law memory is going, and the new law memory is getting overwritten for me. For you, no problem, because you are only learning the new law. For a Buddha like me, the problem is I have to unlearn the old law and learn the new law. 1956 law I have imprinted in my memory now. Slowly it's getting erased. Slowly. Okay. And the new law is getting overlaid onto my synapses and links in my memory. Slowly it's getting overlaid. It takes some time. But it will finally, another 2 years down the line, I will remember these sections, numbers by heart and all. It takes some time. For me, I'm not trying to rush it. But if you want to remember things, for the exam purpose and all, it's called short-term memory. You have to increase short-term memory. For that, you have to read again and again. Means you should read the same thing 3 times. Then you will remember it. Short-term, it will come. Ideally, read it aloud or listen to a tape while looking at the text. If you want to remember some content, then ideally read it aloud. When you read it aloud, 2 senses get involved in it. 2 senses get involved, right? One is visual. You are seeing. Through that input, your brain is getting one input. You are reading aloud, right? At that time, you are hearing. Through another sense also it gets, recorded. So there will be a double effect. That's why reading aloud is a good method of increasing short-term memory, but not mechanically. With a lot of involvement, you read aloud, chances are you will remember better. I do a lot of reading aloud. When I want to memorize a passage or something for some purposes, I read it aloud. 2 or 3 times I read it aloud. 4th time I remember it by heart. You try it out, it will happen. Take some time, but it will happen. Of course, with understanding. Another method I use it is to convert it into diagrams, convert it into simpler thing, and remember the diagram. So that I don't have to remember the whole thing. Say enough if I remember the diagram, the sequence I remember. That is how my slides are prepared to enhance your ability to remember the content. So here, see, we have only summarized it. Certain resolutions are to be filed when within 30 days. In the case of IFSC public applied company, 60 days. How? Inform MGT 14. That's all. But when you read from the institute material or text or even the section, you'll have to remember the whole content, which is a little boring. That's why we have extracted it and given like this to facilitate this. Right? Now, under section 117, the following items have to be filed. One is special resolution. All special resolutions passed by a company have to be filed in MGT 14. This MGT 14 is a very important form. Companies will keep on repeating MGT 14, MGT 14, because any special resolution, you have to file in MGT 14. Means if you are amending the objects class, amending the alteration of articles, alteration of memorandum, buyback. See, there's a list of items for which special resolutions are needed. I don't have to provide it to you. Go to Google. You will get loads of fellows have done it already. I will not reinvent the wheel. You want a list of special resolution? No problem. Your textbook, if you are using some textbook, in the fag end, there will be an appendix. They'll give matters requiring special resolution. You can do it. Okay. But my suggestion, don't mug up such a list. Rather, try to remember it with the section. When you read the section, remember what resolution has to be passed. That is easier. Don't try to remember from a list. If you prepare a list of sections requiring special resolution, you'll get bored. Whereas, buyback special resolution, alteration of memorandum special resolution, like that, if you can remember, that's easier. As and when you read the topic, you remember it. It's enough. More importantly, where it is an ordinary resolution, remember that. Those are rare situations. For example, appointment of auditor, ordinary resolution, removal of director, special notice, ordinary resolution. There only you get confused. Removal of director, is it special resolution? No, ordinary resolution. Okay? Don't worry. So, resolutions which have been agreed to by all the members of a company, but which if not so agreed to, would have been effective for their purpose unless they had been passed as special resolution. See, special resolution, they prescribe a certain special majority. Whereas a resolution might have been agreed to by all the members. So the company cannot argue and say, hey, I have got unanimous resolution. So why should I file? No, the law says, even if it had not been unanimous, should you not have passed a special resolution? Yes, then even though it is unanimous, all have agreed, still such a resolution has to be filed. Okay. Resolutions are agreements which have been agreed to by any class of members, would have been effective only unless they have been passed by a specific majority. So, where some class of members have to pass a resolution by a specific majority and they have agreed to it, such resolutions or agreements have to be filed with the registrar. One example is compromises and arrangements. Where a company may enter into a compromise or arrangement with the creditors or a class, members or a class. Now, that needs a very special majority, 3/4 in majority in number representing 3/4 in value. So whatever it is, when it is agreed to by them, by any class of members, then such a resolution, it's not a special resolution. It's not a special resolution, but it requires a specified majority. So such resolutions also need to be filed, where the resolution should be passed as a specific by a specific. Then such resolutions also have to be filed. That's why I gave you the example of a scheme of compromise or arrangement should be agreed to by a specified majority. So in those cases also, those resolutions also have to be filed. Special resolution will be mentioned as special resolution. These resolutions will not be mentioned as special resolution, but if they are requiring a specified majority, then you have to file with the registrar. Normally board resolution will not come under 117. Only one instance you will have to file, that is any board resolution or agreement executed by a company relating to the appointment, reappointment or renewal of appointment or variation of the terms of appointment of a managing director. See, managing director can be appointed by the board. When you come to final, I will teach you or somebody will teach you that appointment of managerial personnel, MD can be appointed by the. Your remuneration is within the limits prescribed. If the MD's power is correctly done, if the MD is otherwise eligible, then the board itself can appoint the managing director. There is no need for a resolution passed by the members, right? So, when the board resolution is passed for appointment of a managing director, then such a board resolution for appointment, reappointment, renewal of appointment or variation of terms of appointment should also be filed in MGT, MGT 14. Wow. MGT 14 under section 117. Also, any resolution for winding up of the company voluntarily, resolution for voluntary winding up, okay, which is passed in pursuance of 15N of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, okay, should be filed. Okay. Now, 179 is not in your syllabus. Section 179, you will be worried, what is it all about? 179 is not in your syllabus. When you come to meetings and powers of board, we will discuss it. In final level, don't worry. Right now, for your limited purpose, there are certain resolutions on important financial and strategic matters, like borrowing money, investing money, lending money, issuing share capital, buyback, diversification, mergers and amalgamation. These financial and strategic matters, the board can take a decision, but such a resolution should be passed only at a board meeting. So physically, they have to come for a board meeting, or virtually they have to meet video conferencing and they have to pass. Okay. Such resolutions which are mentioned in section 179, when the board is passing, okay, that should be filed along 14. But we have to be very, very careful. These resolutions are very, very, shall we say, sensitive matters. If it is a listed company, any board resolution passed will have to be informed to SEBI, it will become public notice. But an unlisted company, okay, if you are trying to insist on this, they file this, companies resolve that the company merge with some other company. Hey, that if somebody knows about it, it is a different thing. So it should not become public domain. Normally, resolutions filed under section 117 are public domain and can be inspected and copies may be obtained under section 399. But in this category alone, 179.3 alone, if resolution is filed, it cannot be so inspected because they pertain to strategy and finance company. So public cannot see. Only the regional director and the ministry people can see. Nobody else can see any resolution filed under this clause. All this public domain, especially everything is public domain. Even if you file it, it becomes public domain. But this alone being a board meeting, a resolution of the board, it will not become public domain. Got it? Similarly, there is an exception to the above. The exception to the only for 179(3). See, board resolution passed by the following companies to grant loans or give guarantee or provide security in the ordinary course of business by a banking company or a non-banking finance company or a housing finance company. These three categories, when they pass a board resolution for giving loans, granting loans, or giving guarantee or providing security in the ordinary course of business, need not file MGD 14. Similarly, this provision for filing 179(3) matter does not apply to private company and a specified IFSC public company. These exceptions apply only to this clause. Private companies should file other matters. All other matters private companies should file. Okay. All this private companies should also file. Only this one item, board resolution passed in persons of 179(3) does not apply to private company and a specified IFSC. Similarly, it will not be applicable to a banking company, non-banking finance company, housing finance company, providing loan or giving guarantee in the ordinary course of business. They have also said any other resolution or agreement as may be prescribed and placed in the public domain. Right? So these are there. Surprised that I have not got. If I am at all audible to you, if there is any technology problem because of which you got frustrated and you decided to move away from the, that's what, I am not at all audible. I can make out. Okay. Neha Verma says I am not audible. I don't know what is happening today. But yesterday itself I had a premonition. Sometimes I get these premonitions that something is going to go wrong. Anyway, don't worry. Time is only 9:22. Today I am not completing the topic. Tomorrow morning we will take up the topic again at 7 a.m. when I will cover I will by then complete the syllabus. Not a problem. Okay. Not filing a resolution or agreement within 30 or 60 days. There is a penalty, a fine of up to 10,000 rupees. In the case of a continuing default, a further fine which may extend to 100 rupees for each day after the first, during which such to a maximum of 2 lakh rupees. See, I have to file it within 30 days. On the 30th day, 10,000 rupees fine. Midnight 30th day, 10,000 rupees fine. That is the first day from during which the filer continues. That is the 31st day onwards. I have to pay 100 rupees per day, up to 2 lakh rupees. So, continuing it is not filing within 30 days is an offense. Continuing not to file is a continuing offense. For that, 100 rupees per day, up to 2 lakh rupees. Okay. Let us try to take another 5 to 10 minutes and finish this part, because this is very easy and I can easily cover it. Minutes of meetings. I don't know if I can cover it. Let us see. I will just start it off and then tomorrow we will take it up. Minutes of meetings. So company shall cause minutes of the proceedings of any class of shareholders or creditors to and every resolution passed by postal ballot and every board meeting or committee of the board. So any of these proceedings have to be minuted. That is, a record of the events, whatever happened, should be made. A true and faithful record should be made, prepared, and signed in the prescribed manner and kept and in a minutes book kept for that purpose. The pages of the minutes book should be consecutively numbered. The minutes should be updated within 30 days. of the conclusion of such meeting concerned or passing of resolution by postal ballot. Okay. So, within 30 days of the conclusion, you have to, minutes are the records of the meeting, right? Very important. Minutes are there for other organizations also. Suppose you have a social club like a Rotary Club or a Masonic Lodge or any other activity or a society or a residential welfare association, etc., or a trust, they should have minutes. So when a meeting of the trustees is held or when a meeting is held, at the end of the meeting, you have to prepare the minutes. Preparation of minutes is the duty of the company secretary or the secretary. If you're in a Rotary Club, the minutes are to be prepared by the secretary. Okay, I have been the secretary of a Rotary Club, Masonic Lodge, where my duty to, at the end of the meeting, what I will normally do is, I will keep a blank template of the standard minutes form, and as the minutes are going on, I'll keep my laptop open. And as the proceedings are going on, I will quickly update the document. And once the meeting is over, I'll just review it once and immediately I will press the send button and attach it to a mail and send it to all the members attending. Send it to them immediately. Chuck. Today with electronic mail, you can do that. So that if anybody has any objection, they can always give it. So that I will update that also, so that at the next meeting, the minutes of the previous meeting will be approved. Okay. That is one of the items of agenda. But under the Companies Act, the minutes are to be prepared within 30 days and should be signed and prescribed. Minutes should be maintained in a bound book where the pages are consecutively numbered. You cannot have it in loose leaf. Though there is when we come to board minutes, there is a permission to have in loose leaf binders, provided it is bound at frequent intervals. Finally, the minutes book should be bound and the pages should be consecutively numbered. Now, minutes of the proceedings of a board meeting or committee of an IFSC private company can be prepared and signed in the manner as may be before the next board meeting. So, minutes of IFSC public and private company alone, this 30-day rule does not apply. It can be prepared and signed in a manner not at or before the next board or committee meeting. Okay, so they can say next board meeting 90 days later. At that time, you can do it. Section 118 shall not apply to a Section 8 company as a whole. Totally minutes provision does not apply. Minutes may be recorded within 30 days of the conclusion of every meeting in case of companies where the articles of association provide for confirmation of minutes by circulation. So, but even Section 8 companies will maintain minutes, but 118 does not apply to Section 8. They will go by their own articles and maintain it. But minutes are very important. Okay. Now, before we go to the rules, let me make a very, very important point. Then you will understand. Minutes are evidence. Minutes kept in accordance with the provisions of this section shall be even in accordance with this section and the rules. Then, until the contrary is proved, the meeting shall be deemed to have been duly called and held. All the proceedings thereat to have duly taken place, and the resolutions passed by postal ballot to have been duly passed. All appointments of directors, KMP, auditor, company secretary, etc. shall be deemed to be valid. If the minutes are mentioning something, then unless the contrary is proved, that shall be valid. And the minutes will be evidence. This means, suppose the minutes are properly maintained and the case comes before the tribunal or court, with regard to that passing of the resolution, you need not prove anything. You simply produce the minutes of book, extract to the tribunal and say this. It will be taken as done. It is prima facie evidence of passing of the resolution. Unless the contrary is proved, you should show that no such meeting was held. It's a bogus. Otherwise, if minutes are held, if minutes are prepared, it is legal evidence. Evidentiary value of the minutes is very, very important, which is why minutes have to be correctly maintained and recorded and signed, right? So there are many rules relating to minutes. The time now is almost 9:30. Let me not trouble you further because sound problem is also not there. So sound is not there, problem is there. So let us take off today. Tomorrow morning, kindly bear with me because still we have to complete minutes. Then we have to complete register of members, registers and returns, annual return and all. For that, I will need one more class, which I have requested the Board of Studies. They have been kind enough to permit me to take one more session tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. sharp. Till then, bye. Looking forward to meeting you tomorrow. Good day.